I'm not seeing the audience. I'm not seeing that.
You don't have an invitation? Carolyn's trying to get in. She can't get an invitation.
It would be in the Inside the Gates email.
Inside the Gates email, honey,
From the 24th.
from the 24th. Inside the Gates, the 24th. Go back to the 24th, the Inside the Gates.
It would be in the Inside the Gates email.
Inside the Gates email, honey,
From the 24th.
from the 24th. Inside the Gates, the 24th. Go back to the 24th, the Inside the Gates.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Big Canoe POA board meeting, special meeting here on November 29th. It's a chilly evening, but we're glad that you're all here to make it.
It would be in the Inside the Gates email.
Inside the Gates email, honey,
From the 24th.
from the 24th. Inside the Gates, the 24th.
Hey, Mark, thanks, and good evening, everyone. This is our last board meeting.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Big Canoe POA board meeting, special meeting here on November 29th. It's a chilly evening, but we're glad that you're all.
Okay, we're all in line here. Okay, thanks, Mark. This is actually a special board meeting to vote on the 2022 budget and the strategic plan. And the financial budget was reviewed in some detail in the 11/18 meeting with Scott Auer, and also a recap from our Finance Committee Chair, Bob White, over the last several months. So what I'd like to do is make a motion for the 2022 financial budget, which encompasses operating and capital replacement budgets, and also the 2022 monthly assessment increases that were discussed in detail on 11/18. And this consists of a $15 per month increase for the operating budget, which we had no increases for the last 2 years, and a $15 per month increase for the board designated master plan or special projects budget. And there was no increase last year. So reviewed in the November 18th monthly board meeting by Scott Auer, again, in detail. And I'd like to make a motion for approval.
So moved.
Okay, a second. Okay, second from Bob. And is there any discussion on any aspects of the budget that was discussed on the 18th of November?
I just want to say just two quick things. One, Scott and Bob did an excellent presentation on the 18th. It lasted about an hour, explained everything. I encourage anyone who didn't watch it to please do so. And that it was unanimously recommended by the Finance Committee.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah, I would like to make a couple of comments also. First of all, thanking Jane and Scott, all the amenity and operating department heads, as well as Nicole from Bobby Jones and the Finance Committee for all the hard work, countless hours they put into putting this budget together. A couple of things about this. I'd like to make it clear to the property owners that approval of this capital budget does not necessarily mean that all the projects identified in that budget are being approved for the amount contained therein. Those, as required, those will come up for individual consideration by the board at the appropriate time. The other thing I'd like to say is I consider myself to be somewhat of a fiscal conservative. I think most of the people that know me realize that. And looking at this year's budget, it shows a fairly significant increase in operating expenditures. But when you look at that, it's really a product of the economic environment we're currently facing with inflationary pressures, as well as the increased cost associated with attracting and retaining employees. So that is reflected in the budget, which is driving some of those cost increases. And when you look at some of the areas where expenditures are being increased, it is areas like public works, public safety, housekeeping, environmental protection, so on and so forth, where the property owners in the voice of the community survey indicated they wanted Big Canoe to invest in those areas to enhance the property owner's experience. So this budget reflects that, and is also these expenditures in those areas are driving an additional portion of the cost increase. Finally, the one thing I'd like to say is, as far as the golf amenity is concerned, I know when we took this, we went to the community for the approval of the Creek 9 initiative, spending what turned out to be just a shade under $2.3 million of property owner funds. Many people will remember that there was a maintenance portion of this of that expenditure, as well as a course enhancement. We made a commitment to the property owners that the course enhancements would be paid back in a period of 3 to 4 years. And this budget certainly reflects that. If you look at our 2019 net operating income from golf, we have pretty much doubled it in 2022 as a result of increased memberships, as well as increased amenity fees and dues. So I just wanted to emphasize that this budget does reflect that we are following through on that commitment to the property owners. So that summarizes my thoughts on this budget. And
Okay, thanks, Regis.
Maybe prepared to vote.
Yep, we are. Okay. We had a motion for approval, a second, and now all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, then our motion passes as recommended. Okay, our second vote is regarding the approval of the strategic plan, which Regis will highlight the important parts of this and the impact it will have on all of the community.
Geez, I have to make 2 speeches in a row. Okay, the strategic plan, I am going to be making a motion to approve the strategic plan that was submitted in by way of a strategic planning manual that Rich McLeod submitted and reviewed in the board meeting 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Now, just to give a little bit of a background, back in February, this board approved the creation of the charter for a strategic planning committee, which was comprised of, I believe, 10 property owners. The culmination of that, the 8 months work was, as I said, submitted to the board in our last board meeting, which was the strategic planning manual, which included, amongst other things, a mission statement. And I think that these are very important, so I will actually read these important elements of the strategic plan. So our mission, what our purpose in life is to provide a residential community with a high quality of life and harmony with nature. Our value statements, these are pretty much the non-negotiables as far as how we do business. And they are inclusion. We value making all property owners, employees, and guests feel welcome in Big Canoe. Integrity. We value always doing the right thing. Transparency. We value open and honest and candid communication. Collaboration, we value the input of all stakeholders. Environmental, we value preserving, sustaining, and enhancing Big Canoe's natural resources and infrastructure. Mutual respect, we value interacting with all individuals respectfully and volunteerism. We value giving back to the community. Our vision statement, and this is what we want to be. Big Canoe is a safe and secure residential community providing the harmonious integration of the natural beauty of the mountains with a high quality amenities along with a well-maintained and updated infrastructure. So flowing out of that vision statement, we have developed 5 strategic objectives, one being continuous improvement of all amenities and infrastructure and preservation of the natural environment. Safety and security, enhance the well-being and safety of our property owners, guests, and employees. Make decisions for the governance of Big Canoe in a transparent, ethical, and fiscally responsible manner. Create a culture that attracts and retains engaged and motivated employees, and enhance every aspect of the property owner and guest experience at Big Canoe. So those are our high-level strategic objectives, which will be flowed down to the operating Scott and his operations team, which will be used for the development of annual plans and departmental budgets that will be in support of these strategic objectives. And this process is detailed in the strategic planning process manual, which, as I said previously, Rich McLeod, the chair of the strategic planning committee, presented to us in our last meeting. So with that in mind, I would propose that we adopt the strategic plan as developed by the strategic planning committee.
Okay, may I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second? Okay,
Second.
okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, well, so moved. I think it's also important to note that the board will be going through the same process too in developing our strategic strategy for 2022 and beyond. So I think that's important to mention. Okay, as a final note, the board will be voting in an open session, a Zoom call at 10 a.m. on January 4th to formally increase the capital contribution fee by $500 from $2,500 when it was voted for approval in December of last year to $3,000 for 2022 as described in section 14 of the Fourth Amendment to the amended and restated General Declaration of Governance and Restrictions. And this amount may increase annually by resolution of the board after 12/31/2021, the $500. Now, the amount of this increase shall not exceed $500 in any one fiscal year, nor shall the maximum fee allowed to be imposed exceed $5,000 without certain voting stipulations going forward. So, but that will be on January 4th at 10 a.m. Any questions, comments? Okay, well, that includes our special board meeting for tonight. And I'd like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second it.
And all in favor.
Aye.
And
Do you
Mark
have-
will open this up for any comments or questions from the community.
We do have one question here. Comes from Roger Spenvold of lot 6131. His question is asking the board to please address the items over $1 million in the budget.
Hey, Roger, I'll be happy to take that. Actually, as Amy said, there's a really good not because I did it, but a really good budget presentation last Thursday. We tried to make it fun, but it's very detailed. It tells you everything you want to know about the budget. So you can look at that on YouTube. I would encourage everybody to do that. We'll also go through it in a little bit more abbreviated detail this coming Saturday at the town hall meeting. So don't forget, Saturday morning in the chapel, 10 o'clock. We want to see all of you. It would be really good. So Roger, your question. The only thing that is over $1 million in the capital replacement budget is Lake Pettit Dam improvements. We used to carry that as a master plan item. The finance committee suggested, and we agreed, to move that from master plan to replacement capital. Things in the master plan project list tend to be more discretionary in nature, many times require a property owner vote, such as remodeling the clubhouse, for example. The dam is not discretionary. We need to make sure that we do everything to get it ready for the next 50 years. So that is, there's roughly 1.3 million in the replacement capital for 2022 for Lake Pettit Dam improvements. The next biggest thing down is, as you might expect, road paving. Road paving is about $800,000 of paving next spring and summer. Hope that answers the question.
Okay.
That is all the questions that we have for the evening, folks.
Okay. Well, again, as Scott reminded us, we do have our annual town hall meeting at 10 a.m. and we'll announce our new board members. And we, I think, have a full presentation set up for what we've accomplished in 2021 and where we're headed. So thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Night.